sobriety, grief, and the ineffable, and how are they all related. There's something I've been thinking about for a little while, because I think these three themes have played out in my life in that order, and I drew this little diagram that is insanely messy, but I've been very interested in cycles, human cycles, and the things we get stuck in, and how it can feel like we're always spinning and there's no progress being made. And I've wanted to find a way to differentiate between cycles that are cycles of shedding versus ones of stagnation. And perhaps there's a way to go in a circle where you traverse the land you were once at before, but it's okay because you have a new perspective. You're someone different, and the land has not changed, but you have, and you can see it again for the first time maybe, and there's value in that. So, sobriety. Sobriety is, in the context of what we're talking about, I'm going to explain each theory with each word and what it represents in this landscape that I'm drawing out. Sobriety is the prerequisite for the grief. When you face the grief, it may be too much, and that may cause you to relapse, and you may no longer be sober. And that is a way that you can spin in circles, and you would have to approach sobriety again for the first time. I'm going to be speaking in terms of sobriety, but what I mean by that is super broad, that inherently kind of calls upon language that makes you think of addiction, specifically to substances. I see sobriety as just like the state of being sober, like being unhindered by craving something that is not good for you, something that destroys you, something that takes you off the path of what is good, like what is for your highest good. So yeah, that can be about anything. For me, this is so stupid, but for me it's about everything. But particularly I thought about this in the case of addiction. So sobriety and then grief. And let's say you do face the grief, and you reckon with it, and you look it in the eyes, and you let it consume you at times, and you let it wash through you, but you bear it, and you do not go back. You move forward. And that's where the ineffable is. The divine. Inspiration, love, art, truth, honesty, being unashamed, living without regret, living with being earnest. Okay. So what is sobriety? What does it do for you? It's a clarity that builds. Because when you are not in a state where you are sober, your nervous system is messed up. You spend so much of your life intoxicated and terrified and angry and hungry. You're an appetite. You need to feed something, and that hijacks your nervous system. So when you become sober, you have this baseline level of calm. And your baseline is calm. You're not coming down from something. You're not coming up on something. You're just a human being. And the more that builds, and you get used to it, you build this self-confidence. Because you know, I can handle stuff when it gets hard. My body can handle it. My mind can handle it. My nervous system can handle it. And that's ultimately what is the most important, because that's the connection of the two. And it's just a complete rewiring of what you were before you were sober. And it feels like the light is shining on you for the first time. And it keeps you sober. Because you are safe now. And you feel enlightened. And you're having maybe these epiphanies about why you were the way you were, and how you got to where you are, and how the people around you are, and your context, and things are making sense in the new light. And you're not really afraid to face it. So you start to investigate, and you investigate your surroundings and your past, your present, and all of these little objects and moments and memories and people that are the culmination of them is you and who you were and who you are. Now you're questioning. And you think you know things, and you keep questioning because you're so intrigued, and there's so much light to be shed on so many things, and it's so exciting. And then you ask the big question. And I don't know what it is for you. You don't know what it is for you until you ask it. But it gets asked, and then the answer looks you in the face, and it's terrifying. And this might happen over and over. And it might happen in different areas of your life. It might happen when it comes to your education, when it comes to your relationship to art, to food, to sex. It might come to, it might be about your family. It might be about where you're from. It could be about your culture, your religion. But you asked the question that your entire life you had been avoiding. And perhaps it was the question that you avoided so much that you were not sober. But now you are. And the question has been asked, and you can't turn back. Because there's an answer waiting for you, and perhaps you see it. Maybe it's under like an invisible curtain, like just like a sheer cloth. But you've asked the question and you do see the answer. You might not understand it in all of its depth and its intricacy and its nuance, and how ugly it is and how beautiful it can be, but you do see the answer. And here comes the grief. Because you're going to have to deconstruct something, and you're going to have to let go of something and embrace something new. And this brings a lot of uncertainty and maybe a loss of identity. And this is the grief. This is the grief that is brought on by the sobriety. What do I let go to embrace something new? Sacred. I had someone tell me the other week, and I've been thinking so much about it. There's this witch that I see a lot at work, and she's super cool. And we were talking about sacrifice, and there goes my cat. He's very emotionally attached to me. We were talking about sacrifice and how what the word means is to make something sacred. You give something up so you can keep it in a way that is sustainable. What you get in return is something sustainable, something that can grow, something that is fertile soil. And this is where you can choose to keep going. And there will be more grief for you, believe me. It will hurt more than it does right now. So this is a point where you can choose to relapse, and you can try to go back to like a period before like your fucking enlightenment stage. You can try to go back to the dark age and try to embrace a period of unknowing. Like I will claw my way back into the great dark, and we will not speak of this place again. That can be your mentality. And you can do that. And I've done that. And you probably have done that in different ways. And so you go back. And you run away. And it gets harder to get sober. Something hits you harder in the face. The pain is worse. The ways that you try to cope are worse because you know more. It takes more to get rid of it. It takes more to get rid of the feeling because you understand the feeling better now. But that's not the story we're talking about here. You move forward. And that's where the work really gets done. Your sense of self can dissolve because something that felt like a fundamental truth about who you were, what you harbored, the thing that you harbored has like exploded, and it's fragmented, and there are shards everywhere, and they're sharp, and you're trying to avoid them, and they feel like they're toxic, like you feel like getting too close to them will kill you. And there's this like loss of identity, and you have to bear it so much. And this is why people relapse, because it's like, well, now I'm sober and life is so hard. It's almost as hard as when I was not sober. Might as well use. No. don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Because the pain is worth it. Especially when you're deconstructing something. And you're bearing this deconstruction now. And you don't know who you are. You don't know who you love. You don't know if you love yourself. You don't know who the people around you are. You don't know what's safe. You're realizing that you've made some really fucking dumb mistakes. Some stuff that honestly feels very, like, just fundamental knowledge that you should have understood. And you've made these mistakes, and maybe they cost you something important. And you have to let go of it. You have to just see it and acknowledge it. And you can let go of that identity that is falling apart. You can let all of it burn. You can let all of these structures that you were sitting on top of, but they're like wilting and they've been abandoned, maybe since before you were born. Let them fall apart, and trust that when they do, your feet will hit solid ground and it won't kill you. You can stand up, and then you can build your identity. And that's where the ineffable comes in. Oh, one more important thing to note about the grief, for the definition of what you might be grieving. It's an overwhelming sense of loss for something you had or had the right to have by virtue of your human soul. So sometimes you might not even be grieving something that you lost. You might be grieving the fact that there was something that you did not get given in this lifetime, that you did not get to experience. And that could be anything. It could be that you didn't get to experience, like, the right to a homeland, which I know is kind of an extreme one, but I think that that's kind of like the most concentrated version of that, is like just not having the right to exist where you grew up. Maybe you didn't have a family. Maybe you didn't get an education, you didn't get the opportunities that you should have with the inclinations you had, whether it was you could have been a musician or a scientist, whatever it was, you didn't get it, and you're grieving that. So then the ineffable is the yearn to love and to be loved by the divine is there, and it's been built, and the ineffable is when that love is felt on both ends, and you can bear it. And you feel you deserve it, so it is given to you, because it is yours. I like the term the ineffable, because I think that even a skeptic can relate to it. I don't think that there's, like, necessarily, like, a religious or, like, hippie undertone that could feel, like, alienating in the language. So, yeah, when I use the divine, or, like, words like that, like, I don't really care what it is. I just think it's this, it could even be your, like, intuition or your understanding of yourself, whatever it is. Just, like, whatever makes sense to you, you can use that phrasing. It doesn't have to have a spiritual undertone necessarily. It's just the ineffable, the beautiful, the magical, like, yeah, no. It's an exaltation, because light is shed on the shame. And it's not banished. I think there's often this idea that the bad is banished, but I think the bad and the scary and the shameful lives in the dark in this context. And you hide your body and you hide your truth. And when the light shines on you, you, like, squirm, like it's, like, burning your skin. And that's been your experience so far. And maybe it's because you're hiding someone else's shame. You're hiding someone else's bodies, and you're bearing it. So your world cannot be filled with light. And that's a really heavy thing to burden yourself with, and a heavy thing to harbor. But now you've gone through so much pain, and you've deconstructed so much, and you've looked like the devil in the face. You've looked your devil in the face. Your demon, your truth that has almost killed you. And now it is your opportunity to, like, bear yourself to the light and just be honest. Be honest about what went wrong. Be honest about who you hurt and who hurt you. That's the root of it. And just let it all be seen. Even if to no one else, just to yourself. Let it all be seen. Let it be known. You have to be known by yourself to be known by others. And so nothing now has to go anywhere. Nothing has to really change. Nothing has to be moved around because you've done the work for that. All you have to do is take in the light and embrace it. And you can be inspired. And you can love. And you can be passionate and put your entirety into something, into a project, whatever it is. Whether it's work or the gym or college or a relationship, a family. Whatever your life's work is, you get to have a life's work now. You get to have something to live for, something to die for. And you're free. And now, you will go through this cycle again. But it's not gonna suck necessarily the way it did the first time. The first time fucking sucked. I'm gonna use a gym analogy. So, when you first start going to the gym, you get really sore after you work out. But if you keep going, you will still get muscle gains, but you're not going to be as sore. And there'll be a point, if you go super consistently, where you just won't get sore. And that's kind of how I view this cycle. You will reach new levels of sobriety, new levels of understanding. There will be different things you grieve. There will be different things you leave behind or embrace or have to sanctify. And you'll see the divine and the ineffable in new ways. And you've laid the groundwork to be able to do that and it not be the end of the world anymore. And I think that's cool. Yeah. I had a lot of different ways I wanted to explain this, but I often found that it was unnecessarily wordy. So I tried to pare it down. Thank you for listening.